Hey guys, firstly up top, sorry about this not being a Vermis video. Last week and the upcoming month for me are looking fantastically busy, so my uploads might be a bit slow, sorry about that. Who knew fake game grim dark lore books required so much research to do? One of the reasons I've been busy, however, is what I want to talk to you guys about today and give you guys a work in progress preview of what I've been working on. Also, stick around to the end of the video to give your input on what abilities a certain school of teaching might have. So, some of you may know I've been working on a project called Eucrasia. It's a biohunk, grim meat, humorous fantasy world based on the medieval four humus. Essentially, way back, people thought there were four elements within a person: blood, phlegm, yellow, and black bile. Excess or lack of these elements is what caused illness or behavioral issues, while a balance of the four created a healthy harmony, which is what they call Eucrasia. If you've ever heard of leeches being used in medicine, this is why. It's the excess of blood to drain away impurities, that kind of thing. So, I've been writing about this meat planet of ancient factions and a great rotting plague. Also, if you want to know a bit more about the history of each of the factions, check out my factions video. You can listen to it while on the commute or something like that. So, I thought, why not try to make it an actual tabletop game? So, I have been. Without getting too deep into the nitty-gritty, I wanted to show you guys the bare-bones basics of roles, combat, and the unique stat mechanic I've got working right now. And yeah, just keep in mind everything here is first draft stuff, so, just let me cook for a moment. Deep in the bowels of a sanguine church catacomb, a sanguine guardsman has followed an unfamiliar stench. Its origin: two festering villagers loitering by a blood river. This guardsman is our player, and they wish to try and get their bearings. Each character has 4 stats: corpus, mentum, astutia, and sensus. Body, mind, cunning, and senses, or feelings. Whenever a player wishes to do an action relating to these stats, they may be required to roll to do so. This is done with 1d8, our main dice. 1 being a failure, 2 to 4 being a weak success, 5 to 7 good success, and 8 potent or a crit. Where normally a stat may have a modifier, like a +1 or a minus, etc., or a number to indicate the threshold to meet, I wanted stats to be an expendable resource. Each stat has, differing between player characters, a max amount of strain or strain dice it can hold. Strain is a person's ability to push themselves beyond their limits within an area, and the number within each stat represents how many strain dice you have to use. Each point of strain is represented by 1d4 that can be added to rolls to better your odds and improve your success or avoid failure. Strain can only be added from the related stat that's being rolled for, i.e., you can't use strain from cunning for a mind roll. It's also a resource for certain abilities. In combat, strain can be used freely from any stat to improve rolls as you lock into the thrill of battle and use your body and mind to its fullest. Once a stat hits 0 with no strain left, however, you become unbalanced, now rolling with disadvantage for the related stat until strain in that area is recovered. The opposite is true as well, however, and having all stats at the same value, i.e. 4 1s, 4 2s, means you are balanced, giving bonuses to certain items or effects and meaning you now crit on both 7s and 8s. So, our sanguine guard will be using sensus to try and hear, smell, or see for the foul stench. So I've rolled a 4, a weak success. The sweet smell of iron mixes with the rot, making it hard to discern its location. So I'm going to use one of my sense of strain to add a d4. And I've rolled a 4, making it a potent success. The guard is now aware he is currently being pincered on either side by what he knows to be festered individuals, an extremely dangerous plague affecting the world. He must eliminate this danger immediately. He rushes to one side to engage with the pus-ridden heretic. Now it's time for combat. Combat is something I wanted to keep simple, but with tactical elements where both sides hit often and abilities, ingenuity, and teamwork win the day, or doing something just absolutely crazy. When combat begins, everyone rolls initiative. 1d8, highest goes first, then next, and going down in that order until it's back to the top. In combat, you have 2 possible actions to do, a move and a combat action. Movement isn't strict, but should be within reason. An illegal move could be a character moving from one side of a canyon to another in a single turn. That is not a reasonable distance or move. Think of a move more like movement by intent. GMs ask and players describe what they're hoping to achieve by moving and where. Whether it be out of range of an enemy, to hide, to get closer to something or someone, their move should have an achievable purpose. Some might require rolls, like scaling a wall or crawling under obstacles, but ideally it's a location within that area that you feel like you could achieve within a few seconds. A combat action is either an attack or defend. When a player attacks a target, they choose a weapon they have equipped, make sure the target is within range for that weapon, e.g. melee being close, ranged at a distance, then roll a d8 to see if they hit without retaliation. This is an attack roll. When they hit, they do the damage listed on their weapon. Ranged weapons avoid retaliation and just roll to hit or miss. Rolling a 5 or higher means the player hits their target without being struck back. If the roll is 4 or below, after performing the attack and dealing the damage to the target may then retaliate, rolling a d8 themselves and seeing if they strike back. If the attack target who's retaliating gets a 4 or below, they just miss. So our Fester Zomboid here moves closer, then rolls a d8 to attack. They get a 7, so they hit without the player getting a hit back. Then it's the player's turn. Rolls to attack. Hit without retaliation. They have a guard sword which does 1 damage, the Fester takes 1 damage, and so on. But let's say the Sanguine Guard instead wanted to defend. If a player chooses to defend, they must forego their movement action as they prepare to be attacked. Rolling 1d4 for the total amount of damage the defender absorbs before their next turn. So if you roll a 3, you can absorb 3 damage until it's back to your turn. Failed attacks aren't retaliated when defending. So if an enemy attacks you, giving you the opportunity to retaliate, you can't when defending, only if you're being attacked while attacking. However, enemy attackers within melee range of a defending player, upon moving from their vicinity, are open to an attack from the defending player that they cannot retaliate. So if you defend, you can't retaliate when you get attacked, but attack of opportunity if people try to leave the perimeter that you are defending in. So defending locks you in place, but also enemies at the risk of taking damage if they try to move away. Player abilities gained from teachings in schools of the wound. These schools represent class abilities, but in this game there are no classes. These things don't cost an action in combat or roleplay, unless it states otherwise, and can be done freely. Items I haven't decided on, but I think would take an action, either your move or combat, in combat to use, so people can't just chug a potion while smacking someone with a maul. And yeah, that's what I've got so far. I finished doing each of the 4 humors players, so like the races. that you can be, each with their own special traits and abilities. And now I'm just working on the schools. There's 4 schools, 1 for each stat, and 5 teaching in each school, with 4 available abilities to learn. So 4 abilities in each teaching, with the idea being that with XP you could unlock a teaching and then the abilities within, or unlock an ability from different teachings and that sort of stuff. Maybe learning all of them in one school gives you a bonus too, but who knows? Some of these abilities are narrative based, while other ones are a bit more active or combat. There is a wide variety. So I wanted to ask you guys for some suggestions, ideas, or thoughts on one of these teachings within the School of the Mind. Goreology, or the geology and cartography of Gore. What sort of abilities, moves, or bonuses do you think or would like this to give? Exploring these meat wastelands, the deserts of the choleric people, or the black marshes of the Malank. I talk about it in the factions video, Anyway, what do you reckon? Goreology. Leave your suggestions and thoughts in the comments. I've been Haunted Picnic, and I'll see you next time. 3 planes. It's 3 planes, guys. I shit you not. 3 planes have flown by in literally like 8 minutes.